What we're looking at is the legal complaint that was filed against Disney Lucasfilm coming from Gina Carano's law firm representation. We're gonna scroll through this, and I just want to read the very first opening paragraph, which would actually, if we could just go to that opening paragraph under introduction. We'll start there. This could be an opening crawl. I'm sure this already exists. Somebody already made an opening crawl.
Yeah.
It's already happened, but you just can't use the Star Wars music. But let's go through these first few paragraphs. A short time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, the defendants are Lucasfilm Disney, made it clear that only one orthodoxy in thought, speech, or action was acceptable in their empire, and that those who dared to question or failed to fully comply would not be tolerated. And so it was with Carano. After 2 highly acclaimed seasons on The Mandalorian as Rebel Ranger Cara Dune, Carano was terminated from her role as swiftly as her character's peaceful home planet of Alderaan had been destroyed by the Death Star in an earlier Star Wars film. And all this because she dared to voice her own opinions on social media platforms and elsewhere, and stood up to the online bully mob who demanded her compliance with their extreme progressive ideology. Defendants' wrath over their employees' social media posts also differed depending on sex. Even though the force is female, in quotes, defendants chose to target a woman while looking the other way when it came to men. While Carano was fired, defendants took no action against male actors who took equally or more vigorous and controversial positions on social media. But the rule of law still reigns over the defendant's empire. And Carano has returned to demand that they be held accountable for their bullying, discriminatory, and retaliatory actions. Actions that inflicted not only substantial emotional harm, but millions of dollars in lost income. Okay, it gets technical here, stating statutes there. One of the things that I found interesting watching one of the LawTube channels, Legal Mindset, shout out to Andrew, thank you. I feel educated by Legal Mindset. Subscribe to Legal Mindset's channel. Interesting that they filed this lawsuit in the state of California, because state of California has laws which were actually helped put into place by Disney itself regarding equal rights with regard to sex, with regard to male and female workers are to be treated equally. It is clear when we go through the evidence. I sound like I'm fighting this case.
Yeah.
Didn't we just do a lawsuit against? Didn't we just do a lawsuit against Disney and Lucasfilm?
Yeah, they lost.
She was treated. These laws are in place to protect, and make sure that people are accountable and treated equally. It is clear she was not treated equally when compared to her co-stars. So while California is an at-will employment state, you can be fired for almost any reason. They gave specific reasons as to why she was fired, but did not equally apply these so-called rules that they made up, that they had. Alan, what are your thoughts on this beginning, this introduction? What we're going to do is we're going to scroll through the document and we're going to look at the evidence that's presented as part of the complaint. But Alan, your initial thoughts hearing the introduction.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of, when I first heard about it, kind of going along the lines of, yeah, well, they can fire an independent contractor however they want, but I think I think we're going to talk about it soon. But the idea that they blacklisted her, I think to me that is where I'd like to see her get the justice in this. It's one thing. I guess they can fire you because of politics, but to blacklist you, that's a whole other thing. And that will have ramifications for a lot of other people who have been blacklisted out of Hollywood as well.
Yeah, there's so many different areas to this. One, I think by filing this suit, what Gina has presented is all of the evidence that you need to show that her reputation was smeared. She was wrongfully fired. And the claims that people assume as facts on social media, they're not accurate. They're not accurate. It's just like the charges against J.K. Rowling, which the professor you see in this video who kind of schools this kid, questioning his assumptions and where he got these ideas. There's a lot of bad ideas that spread with midget-minded people. And that's my new favorite term now because it's alliteration. And one of my favorite creators, Stan Lee, was a huge fan of alliteration. But midget,
say he was a midget, but
he's not. He's just a fan of alliteration. We're talking about alliteration right now. I think that if this goes to trial by jury, that a lot of people's minds will be changed if they pay attention. And what I usually see when I see someone repeat an opinion that isn't their own, but they heard that this is what they're supposed to think, they're not thinking critically. Whenever you challenge these people, they go immediately to name calling, which is why a moron on social media commented on one of my tweets accusing me of sexism when I was merely trying to state a fact about brands and marketing with regard to Star Wars and Marvel. Star Wars is a boy brand. No two ways about it. Barbie is a girl's brand. No two ways about it. Hot Wheels is a boy's brand. My Little Pony is a they brand. Sorry,
it's primarily a she brand.
But what I'd like to do, Alan, and
well, I just want to add one thing. I've heard discussion on our friends at that Park Place, Jonas and Valiant and but it's the most interesting aspect of this will be discovery, and Disney having to turn over all the emails regarding the discussions behind firing Gina, and that will be the most interesting part, because again, this idea of blacklisting, it's become common practice, and it's illegal, and I'm finally glad that Gina and Elon are going to take it on head on in the courts and bring it out in public. And I have to believe, I want to believe that good things will come out of this.
Well, what I'm hoping is a couple things is that one, she is vindicated.
Mm-hmm.
And this, this is the beginning of the end of cancel culture. Normies have figured it out. This is not good for society. This is not good for coexisting, because after this election happens at the end of 2024 in November, the first Tuesday in November in 2024, after this election, we have to live with people who did not vote the same way. And are we going to live peacefully, or are we going to continue to dehumanize and vilify our fellow Americans? Don't fall for the divisiveness. Do not fall for it. It's disgusting. We're even at the point where that has to be spoken aloud, because I remember plenty of elections where it's like, well, the guy voted for loss, but whatever, moving on. And now let's make sure we make the best decisions for our country. We are so far from those times. But I'm seeing some great comments. I promise we'll get to them, folks. We're not talking about just super chats here, just amazing conversation happening. Please keep the comments and conversation going. But Alan, I'm gonna take a short break while you actually read. I just want you to look at some of the examples. So scroll down to some of the tweets. I want you to read them. I'll be right back.
Okay. Quick. Look at some of the tweets. If I had actually read this ahead of time. Let me see. Okay, so there's a section here about Gina and her credentials. Terminated because of her speech. Let's see. Okay, so all of this came to an end on February 10th, 2021, when defendants announced through the media that Carano had been terminated for her role from as Cara Dune, and would not be hired for any other project with defendants, all because she expressed her political opinions on social media. In the announcement of Carano's termination, Lucasfilm made the public statement: Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their culture and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. Which comes back to that video with the teacher. What were those posts? And let's look at them, and then let's examine them to see if they were truly religious, culturally and religiously abhorrent and unacceptable. Defendant statements characterizing Carano's social media posts as denigrating people based on their culture and religious identities were false. It was also made with knowledge of its falsity, with the purpose of harming Carano to distract the defendant's illegal termination and treatment of Carano. Defendants targeted, harassed, publicly humiliated, defamed, and went on to great lengths to destroy Carano's career, all because she made political statements that did not align what they believed was acceptable viewpoint. Bob Chapek is quoted as saying about her firing, because she didn't align with company values. And in doing so, companies said that company values are values that are universal, values of respect, values of decency, values of integrity, and values of inclusion. Like to see where those are written. Chapek's statements that Carano did not stand for values of respect, decency, integrity, and inclusion is false. His statement also made knowing it was false and with the intent to harm Carano. You know, it reminds me of, like, you know, when you did your Make Marvel Mail Again. You made a 4-word statement, and people basically put in their own meaning behind it, and
Right.
Mary Sue wrote a full-length article about those 4 words, including things you never said and things you never meant.
Yeah,
And
that's
basically
right. I forgot
gaslighting
about that.
everybody.
And the Mary Sue lied about me.
Yeah.
They lied about me when they could have actually done a Google search or looked me up on IMDb to look at my list of credits. It's that organization cannot be taken seriously any longer. They are an organization with an agenda, and F them.
Yeah. Well, it's that idea.
I will run into some people from the Mary Sue, and I will say those words to their face. How dare you smear me on your platform?
Make sure your camera is running when it happens.
Actually, thank you for reminding me. If that ever happens, I will film it.
Yeah.
I will film it.
Yeah. But it's this idea that you could just lie about something, lie about it enough, lie about it so much that it becomes true.
Well, you lie about it. This happens to Gina Carano. It happens to me on Twitter. It's
Happened to
happened
Richard
to
Gere.
you. It's happened to you about what was the one about Wish?
Oh, Wish, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean that exactly happened. They took a quote from Rotten Tomatoes and just applied all the meaning to it. And then when finally people saw the movie, I was right. It was a movie made for teenage girls and not for comic book fans. It was the Marvels, by the way.
Oh, that's right. It was the Marvels. My apologies. Yeah. So you know, who can keep track? It's you know, but the thing is this, I really don't like to linger on talking about being attacked. I feel like that just comes with the territory. When you have a strong opinion about something, your opinion will be attacked. It's, to me, are you interested in having a discussion in good faith, or are you Peter from Slash Film? Are you just going to call me a name, you coward? I'm going to see Peter someday in person, and we're going to have some words.
Oh, maybe at the Dune screening.
Maybe at the Dune. I don't think he'll be there. He doesn't work. He doesn't work for Slash Film anymore. He has a YouTube channel called Ordinary Adventures, which I unsubscribed to because he is so disingenuous. I'm trying to have a thoughtful. Sorry, what?
Is he the guy who does Disney travel videos and stuff? Or
Disney travel videos where they pay for everything and then he gives everything a good review? Yeah, that's that guy.
Okay.
And his girlfriend's, she's a sweetheart. Nothing wrong with her. He is, from what I hear behind the scenes, other people have reached out to me about him. I'll let them speak for themselves. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just saying other people have reached out to me. I've heard things about Peter. Maybe there's a reason that he protests too much.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
I have sinister theories about that stuff too.
Some point I'm going to see Peter and we're going to have a conversation. But the point is this, I'm willing to engage with anyone who wants to have a good faith discussion. I disagree with what you said, Chris. Well, what part of it do you disagree with? I think about this, or I have evidence of, well, that's interesting. Sure. I never said, especially because they'll read in to something, a thing you didn't say. And then what they'll do is, and it's like, I never said that girls cannot be fans of Star Wars. I said it's a boys brand. In the same way that I said Barbie is a girls brand, it doesn't mean boys can't play with Barbies.
Yeah.
You know, no reason. It's so there's a lot of reading into it. Anyways, yeah.
I mean, look, My Little Pony was the only brand to ever bring little girls and grown-ass men together.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. Okay. There's a lot to go through. I want you to, I know this is going to sound weird to request. Let's go through, like, if you go further in the document, you're going to see a lot of tweets. I want to look at the tweets because there are examples given. Okay. So this is an example of the bullying. People were bullying Gina Carano. This is during the BLM riots.
Oh, okay.
They said to her, say ACAB, please. Gina Carano, say ACAB. So here's all her followers saying, hey, support the current thing. What does ACAB stand for? All cops are, I heard it was all cops are bad, but it's all cops are bastards. You could read it either way. I always thought ACAB stands for all cops are bad. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me read this one. On August 4th, 2020, one social media user posted, you're a racist if you completely ignore BLM movement and don't support it. Being silent puts you on the side of racists and oppressors. Alan, do you remember what was happening at that time?
I mean, what year are we? Yeah, it was the George Floyd.
Yeah. So
George Floyd riots. Yeah.
I never posted a black square, whatever you were supposed to
do. In fact, we talked about this.
We had a conversation at Film Thread about it. We did for a day on Film Thread, I believe. Am I correct?
We did something different, but our conversations were essentially do nothing because we saw what was happening to every company and every corporation that posted a black square.
Okay, is that because I do remember a discussion, but I remember like I'm just not even gonna comment. I'm gonna piece out.
I was emphatic with you about not posting anything about it.
No, but I didn't. I'm saying, did we do anything at Film Thread? I thought
we did. What we did on that day was we basically pushed every like meaningful black movies that came out that year. And just
we pandered. We pandered is what you're saying.
We pandered a bit, but nothing. We made no overt statement in terms of support for Black Lives Matter
or any statement against. Like, I don't know, like maybe more information is needed. But yeah, I remember myself, I'm like, I'm just not going to look at social media for a while, and I'm just not going to post for a couple of weeks. There are gaps in my social media, and now I post very little. Like
I post too much.
You post. I love your tweets.
Well, when you get me going, unfortunately, this is not. I mean, other than Gina, I think the only thing I've done lately is I changed my pronouns to beep bop boop on
oh, did you really? Oh, okay, that's cool. So basically, what they're trying to show is how Gina Carano was bullied on social media. Guess who never came to her defense? Disney or Lucasfilm. Continue to scroll, and we'll look at some of these.
Well, no one except for her true fans came to her defense.
Right. We'll look at this one.
It's from Boba Fett.
It's from Boba Fett. Wow. Gina, if you're not racist, then show us. This whole compelling, you must. If anyone ever does that, even if it's something I believe in, I'm not going to do it because you're telling me to do it. And guess what? You don't have power over me. And that's what Gina's pushing back. Gina is not just a fighter in her professional life, she's a fighter in real life in terms of her essence, she is to be admired. But Gina,
Well,
if you're not,
the opening line here, Gina, if you're not racist, then show us, support and donate to Black Lives Matter. What are those famous words from Admiral Akbar?
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. And I know people who have fallen for that trap and got eviscerated because of it. You know, companies that posted the black square or posted support for Black Lives Matter then get called out for their racist past.
Oh my God. It was so funny because I remember there was a candy brand. I was laughing with Dante of all things. We're like talking about everything that's going on. Dante James, Verbal Riot Show, subscribe. He's going to relaunch his channel. He told me.
He's always relaunching his channel.
And he's going to be a regular on our new show that launches on, I believe it's February 19th. It's called Versus. We're going to be talking about Madam Web with about 8 other people. It's going to be a packed panel. But I, it was like a candy brand. It might've been like Sour Chews or Charleston Chews. It wasn't that, but it was something like that basically did this whole statement. And I'm like, candy brands are doing this? Like, it just got ridiculous where it was like, we were just laughing about it because like, it's so pandering and stupid. Yeah. But yeah, it says, Gina, if you're not a racist, then show us, support and donate to Black Lives Matter. Give us money. Use your platform and voice to stand up against the police who are committing crimes against the people they are meant to protect. If 12-year-olds on Twitter can do this, you can too.
Yeah. And let's not forget that Black Lives Matter raised about $1 million.
But much change has happened since then.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it was meant for the community to honor Black people and to uplift Black communities. And I'm glad they did exactly that.
You could scroll to the next graphic. We're going to go through the whole, we're going to go through the exhibits, so to speak.
Yes.
A person named Chloe. These aren't trolls. These are people trying to educate you so you can get on the right side of history. Again, more bullying and insults. Let's keep going. Next example from Gina Carano says, in my experience, screaming at someone that they are a racist when they are indeed not a racist, and any post and or research you do will show you those exact facts, then I'm sorry. These people are not educators. They are cowards and bullies.
Yep. I mean, people who if you mention the name Gina Carano to most people, they'll tell you she's a racist. But then when you ask her, what's your evidence for that? They have nothing. You know, it's what they've heard. It's what they've been told. It's what social media has pounded into their brain. And that's what I'm
hearing things. So there you go. Next exhibit. We'll just go through the exhibits.
Should we, okay.
Okay. It's just Gina Carano saying, my heart is filled with so much warmth from all of you. Just when you think the darkness starts closing in, all of you lit a candle to light my way. It really is incredible. The people standing with each other, heart to heart, believe there is hope. And it's just this little inspirational graphic that says there is still hope. And then some guy replies and says, imagine being racist.
Yeah, I think that's a woman, but I'm not sure.
A woman, whatever.
Yeah.
Chris Bartlett says, who's worked on Mandalorian, says, standing with my castmate, Gina Carano, you'd love to know and work with this human. She's a beautiful example of humility and kindness to everyone. And it's just,
Oh, and then okay.
It's just her being appreciative. It's like an inspirational quote. You're having a good day. When you're having a bad day, it's good to just be grateful. I feel like I'm really grateful. When I think that like I could go down a dark path of, feeling bad about myself, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm really grateful. And then
that's from Tugs.
Yeah. This is from Tugs. That Tug Life says, we stand with you, Gina Carano. And then Data Racer says, Data Racer, amazing. Gina Carano is being bullied and harassed by SJW trolls. They're calling her a racist bootlicker and demanding she say ACAB BLM to prove she's not racist. Gina is having none of it, calling them cowards for trying to bully her off social media. And then there are all sorts of examples there. I mean, you can, this is in the complaint. We're going to put this link to the PDF document in the description. And then this is first of all, Gina's not the first person to point out this picture. This is a very famous picture.
In fact, it's in the movie Origin.
This picture is in the movie Origin, where a lot of people are Sig Heiling, so to speak, and one person isn't. And Gina says, heartbreaking and powerful story of a man who changed his ways for the woman he loved. Love changes the world one person at a time. There's a whole story behind that. She's actually quoting, she didn't post the picture. She quoted a link to Business Insider, who did a story behind this picture. And it's not an original tweet. It's just, she's commenting on it in kind of an innocuous way, of positivity. So, you know, what's hateful about that? Keep going. We're just going to look at exhibits here.
Okay.
There's a lot. And Gina Carano, this is when there was the lockdowns.
Oh yeah.
Gina says, open up your businesses and churches, put whatever regulations you want to, because that is your right, but open them up. You're telling me COVID-19 knows the difference between a protest or praise and worship? I haven't even been to a church in over a decade, but I sure would go now. And then she follows up with, the world is open, but no one is allowed to work. Working is a right you as an American have. It gives us purpose, focus, pride, and most importantly, a way to support the ones we love. People are dropping like flies from depression and ending themselves, overdoses, murder. Enough already.
Well, it sounds like she's accusing the government of authoritarianism during COVID. That's silly.
So silly.
So silly.
There's over 1,000 people watching right now. If you could smash that like button, we'd appreciate it. And then Ness on Twitter with she, her pronouns in the bio. 50% of Hollywood wears masks and respects the trans community. Too bad you're not included in that. More bullying. Hey, do you just not go by any pronouns? It's hard to tell. These are just people bullying her to put the pronouns in the bio. And her response to all of it, we'll get to it. So she's accused of transphobia for refusal to list pronouns in her Twitter bio. Keep going to the next graphic. It's just people hounding her. It's relentless. Gina, just so you know, pronouns are a part of most languages, and putting them in your bio is just a decent thing to do. Even your coworker Pedro has put pronouns in his bio out of decency. So you liking tweets that mock that just sits wrong with many people.
Yeah, I mean, when the government tells you need to put pronouns everywhere, you should do it.
I don't do that. We deal with a lot of people. I'll say it's less now. Alan, would you say you deal with a lot of people who put pronouns in their like sign-offs on email?
Less of it. I kind of gloss over it. I don't even look anymore.
There's a lot
less. Not that I looked in the first place.
There is a lot less of that happening now. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'll tell you, I had the whole pronoun thing and gender, the 30 genders was a long discussion I had with my child. It was just kind of like, a little bit crazy. A little cray-cray.
Yes. So Gina responds regarding this and says, yes, Pedro and I spoke, and he helped me understand why people were putting them in their bios. I didn't know before, but I do now. I won't be putting them in my bio, but good for all you who choose to. I stand against bullying, especially the most vulnerable, and freedom to choose. So she's saying, I stand for freedom, and she stands against bullying.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the problem? You don't have to do it. You can just sort of move on. And then this other person says, not being coy, what is the woke world mad at you about? I'm looking at your tweets. Are they mad you called two women in a UFC fight ladies? Fill a brother in. This is just someone saying, what is going on? Like a lot of people didn't understand what was happening.
And I think that's generally true. I think most people don't understand and don't care. It is that loud majority on social media that gets all the attention. So damn you, clown penis.
No, it's the loud minority is what you meant.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The vocal minority.
Yeah.
And then Gina's response to this person asking genuine, they're mad because I won't put pronouns in my bio to show support for trans lives. After months of harassing me in every way, I decided to put 3 very controversial words in my bio. Beep, bop, boop. I'm not against trans lives at all. You need to find less abusive representation. Here's my thing. You're turning people against your cause by being a bully about it. You can sit there all day. You want to force people to conform, they will turn against it. And they will you actually do worse for your cause when forcing people to do that. And by the way, this is exhibit number 69, Alan. I just want to point that out.
Very appropriate.
Yeah, it's disheartening to see. I remember when all this happened. It's just like you just shake your head and what?
Yeah, we used to be able to do that. Just kind of like let the kids be kids and let's go on with the adult stuff.
I generally don't respond to people like this, especially if they like have like pronouns in their bio, have an anime picture or not a picture of a face, and then they have like under 100 followers. Like, why would I waste my time? So my response usually is a non-response. It's just ignore. I'll tweet again in a couple days and you'll have forgotten this because you're an idiot. Because when you feed a troll, it's almost a reward. This person says to Gina, can you see how some would read that as mocking? And Gina says, I don't think trans people would like all of you trying to force a woman to put something in her bio through harassment and name calling every day for months, such as racist, transphobe, bitch, weirdo. I hope you die. I hope you lose your career. You're fat. You're Alan.
Ugly.
No, I can't read it. It's covered. You got to move it up.
Sorry.
Ugly. So yeah, like you're not gonna change hearts and minds by being cruel to others. Facts. I know trans people wouldn't condone this harassment when they hear about the children, women, and men who have contacted me thanking me for taking a stand against these bullies because it affected their mental health to the point of near ending themselves at times. Yeah, that's happening.
I do wish though that Gina would choose between light mode or dark mode in her screenshots.
Beep Bop Boop this is Gina. Beep Bop Boop has 0 to do with mocking trans people and 100% to do with exposing the bullying mentality of the mob that has taken over the voices of many genuine causes. I want people to know you can take hate with a smile. So boop you for misunderstanding. All love, no hate is the hashtag. Moving on. But it's weird. It just like, and look, this stuff, people have come at me, whatever. I just like, it's like I can tolerate it for a bit. Like I got into it with what's his name, where I was just like kind of mocking and making fun. And then a lot of people came to my defense because I'm just like, I'm bored. Like I have literally between Film Threat, 2 film projects I'm working on, including 2 animated projects. I'm basically working on films and projects for the next 5 years, and Film Threat is the day job. It's a balancing act. And yeah, Seal Dread says, I stand with Gina, coming from a trans person and hearing everything that was going on. None of you respected consent at all, harassing an individual to do something and then get mad when they make a harmless joke about it. It's effing childish. Gina, you're amazing. And then someone else, Hexwitch, says, also transgender, you be you, beautiful. The mob will go find someone else soon. You're still my hero. And then Gina posts a heart emoji and a cute picture of a cat. Hug coming your way, it says.
Oh.
There's
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's
it.
I think that's the most of it when it comes to, well, no, there are other exhibits. The exhibits that are further in the document are proof of things that she posted and things that her co-stars posted.
Mhm.
You should go to the Pedro Pascal tweets, and then we'll end on that, and we'll read all of your super chats, and the chat is on fire, by the way. Thank you for that.
Is it here or?
It's Pedro Pascal. Just look down. There's more of this, but it's really shocking how much she was not defended by her. No, other way. Carl Weathers did defend
Yeah.
her, but that
Yeah,
was
right here.
okay. But let's go to the Pedro Pascal, because you look at like what Gina said and then what Pedro was talking about. See, I read through this yesterday. But here's Pedro Pascal, an example. This is from, so Pedro Pascal is the lead of The Mandalorian. Gina Carano is one of the co-stars, recurring character. Conservatives used gossip columns and headlines to manipulate city politics in the 40s, and it worked. Let's be better than them. Like it ever stopped?
Yeah.
Let's
and like
keep
it
going.
hasn't switched sides over. Oh,
Yeah. Now he posts
yeah,
a graphic. If you
So
could scroll up.
Pascal made the following post comparing President Donald Trump to Hitler.
Yeah.
So it's got the 45 in there.
It's a 45, but with a red circle and no symbol, but it looks suspicious. That's Pedro Pascal posted that. Pedro Pascal also posted, said, this is Germany 1944, and you see children at a concentration camp. America 2018, and it's children behind bars from the border.
But I believe this picture was taken in 2014.
Yes, it actually later came out that was taken, I think, during Obama.
Yes.
The Obama administration. And then Pascal goes
My
on.
Nerdy Home.
Yeah, so My Nerdy Home, shout out to Steph. Wait, go back up. I'll read hers. It says, oh, wow. So Pedro Pascal is trying to hide his hate behind deleting this pic from his Instagram after Kanell Ryan made a video talking about it. The internet is forever. Sorry. Check it out. And shout out to Ryan Kinnell and Steph. It's a picture of a Confederate flag, and it says losers in 1865, losers in 1945, and it's the Nazi flag, losers in 2020, and it's the MAGA hat, comparing modern day Make America Great Again Americans to people from the Confederacy and Nazis during World War II in Germany. Mm-hmm. That's not dehumanizing at all, but that's something that Pedro Pascal did.
Yeah, but it also points out how one side of the debate can have freedom to speak in very extreme ways while the other can't, without being labeled a Confederate, a Nazi, or a MAGA.
Well, it's just interesting that there's so much here. This is a veritable gold mine of I mean, it's amazing that this is going to be used in a court of law in this, but this is modern. Look, who would have thought that social media would have gotten to this point where a woman's career is destroyed? Mm-hmm. People have been worked up into a frenzy about so many causes that they would bully strangers who they've never met. They would engage in a type of debate that is completely disingenuous, and attempt to destroy a woman's life. A woman who, if you follow her career back to, before she was active on social media, when she was just making movies and engaging in MMA fights, seemed to be a very inspirational individual.
Yeah. Also, let's also point out that her tweets, her posts, were not as incendiary as this or as this. I mean, the level of vitriol that she expresses nowhere near this level.
Look, I'm of the opinion that I think if you actually get hired to work on a show like a Star Wars show, you should never, ever tweet anything political, no matter which side of the aisle or where you think. Just don't post political stuff at all. Positivity and you're hired by a studio is paying you a lot of money. Do your job, positivity, be a cheerleader for fans of that of whatever project you're on, and go about your day. I think the celebrities that probably have the best standing are the ones that kind of stay out of that stuff.
Yeah,
because as Ricky Gervais has pointed out, these people have less education than Greta Thunberg. You know, we're not talking about a lot of these people don't even have a full college education. Okay. I'm going to listen to some celebrities and what their takes are in politics. That's the last person. These are celebrities, frankly, are useful idiots for the most part, have almost nothing to contribute. You look at the celebrities that have probably the best, in terms of their reputation, would be people like Keanu Reeves, Ryan Gosling. They rarely say anything. Sorry, Alan, I cut you off.
Yeah, I mean, that's more, but on the other hand, you shouldn't be fired for expressing your opinion, your political opinion.
Exactly.
You know, you shouldn't lose work. You shouldn't be denied a job. You shouldn't be denied the ability to provide for your family because you have a political opinion. Because guess what? We all have political opinions. And so, yeah, this idea of firing someone is just as wrong. Express it. I don't care. You know, it just says more about you than it is about, your ideas. Okay.
And then here we're going to end with this last one, because this one is heartbreaking. This one is heartbreaking because Luke Skywalker was my hero when I was a kid. Why? Look, I struggled like anyone that goes through puberty, any teenager, you struggle with depression. Life sucks. I was a late bloomer in terms of, puberty didn't really hit me until 16. And then I had a huge growth spurt, but I was looked like a little kid. I still look like a little kid into my 20s, to be honest. But this is heartbreaking because Luke Skywalker, I love the character. Why? Because he was so optimistic. In the face of impossible odds or dark things happening in the universe, Luke Skywalker was always a symbol of optimism. And to see Mark Hamill engage in, he's totally been perverted by TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. He's constantly posting politics, and he hates certain types of Americans. And it says, it's a bunch of people raising their hands. It's not what it's meant to be in this visual, but it says, Mark Hamill just says, I do not see a thing. It's making a Nazi joke.
By the way, Luke Skywalker can be your hero. Mark Hamill doesn't need to be a hero.
Mark Hamill, from what I know about him, seems like a horrible person. And I'm really, really disappointed to hear that. I prefer when you see, it's nice when first of all, I'd like to just not know anything about any celebrity. I think basically social media has destroyed celebrity overall in terms of it's demystified who celebrities are. And we found out that they're pretty dumb. Most of them are pretty stupid. But yeah, I think if you are the ambassador of a brand, you should know that your brand has the potential to be loved by all. But when you do this, what you're basically saying is if you support a certain political figure, you're a terrible person. And it's really sad for me to see that.
Yeah. I will say this about Mark Hamill. I admire the fact that he hasn't blocked Gary Nerdrotic.
Well, there you go.